presentation of just some marketing tips, but it's really more of a question and answer type of scenario. So if you have any questions that you want our advice on, we wanted to make it a little free flowing. So that was the cool music vibe that we had in the beginning. Let me just tell you about Enradius. We are a geo marketing company, which means we work with data, and we're doing behavioral targeting, latitude and longitude with business. So it's all online digital. So if you see an ad that's out there that's highly targeted to what you have been doing, that's what we do. We're not an ad agency. We work with agencies. We work with a lot of consultants. And we started the company 6 years ago and have a great team. So we've been a sponsor of the Innovation Week for the last 5 years plus, and we're one of the sponsors now. So we welcome you. Thank you so much for joining us. And Pamela, you want to get us rolling?
Yeah, thanks so much. So I'm Pamela Fasolo. I'm a digital advertising strategist with Enradius, and I've been with Enradius for 3 years now. And my job at Enradius is to help clients with their online advertising, where to place that media based on what their goals are. And really what I've been focusing on this year for my clients that I've been kind of working on all year as I've kind of worked with digital advertising is I've come up with some basic tips for online advertisers just to help them understand how to make a successful digital advertising campaign. And I came up with some tips, and some of them I have for you today. So tip one, know your customer and their buying journey. And I think this is the most important with your digital advertising, is to use your Google Analytics, know what your customer, who they are, what they're like, and then what they're doing online. And the reason for that is because you really want to understand their buying journey when they're considering your product or service. So a lot of, or almost all digital advertising is not linear, right? It doesn't go from clicking on an ad to buying a product. There's a lot of in between, and it's all based on who your customer is. And that in between base is based on who they are, where they are, and their behaviors. So you want to kind of put together a customer journey map for that buying journey for when you plan that digital advertising campaign. So the first thing you want to do is you want to put together your customer persona. This is who your customer is. What are their demographics? What are their psychographics? What are their behaviors, their belief systems? Where are they online? And also, where are they offline? Where are they going? Where have they been? Knowing offline behaviors and offline of, what they're doing and where they're going is really important for location-based advertising. So when you geofence certain areas, you know where your customer is and what you can geofence. But then also, where are they online? What demographics are you targeting? And I put together kind of this fake customer journey map to really show you what users are going to do when they're online between being aware of your product and buying your product. Okay, and like I said, it's not linear. So going through this customer journey map. So first, let's say you want to make them aware first. So they might see your ad and click on your ad. They visit your website, maybe they visit your social media, but then they're going to read customer reviews before they buy when they make that decision. So now they're in the interested area. They're going to review your competitor's website. They're going to review the competitor's social media. They're going to read online reviews. And they're going to revisit your website and your customer's website several times. But they're going to hold off on buying for now. So once they've gone to your website, then you can go and retarget them. Maybe they're served a remarketing ad on Facebook, since you might have a pixel on your landing page that remarkets them on Facebook or retargets them. You may have gotten their email address already. They may have seen an email market. They may start seeing email marketing from your brands. Maybe they revisit your competitor's website again. Then maybe they go to YouTube and watch videos of your products. Then they return to your site, and maybe this time they are putting items in the cart, but they leave before they decide to check out. So it's all this kind of back and forth between when are they really aware of your product versus when they actually start to buy your product. So it's not necessarily click on an ad, buy the product, or go to your Facebook page, buy the product. There's a lot of in between.
And it's one of those things where you have to really decide and think about your own customer journeys and how you make decisions on purchasing things. For example, something might pop up in your Facebook feed because you were looking at it a couple days prior on Amazon or whatever website that might have been there. So retargeting, we see a lot of transactions occurring because of retargeting. People just don't have the time because they're so busy in the day, and then all of a sudden that pops up and it was the right time to catch them. So, I mean, there's a lot of different tactics that you can utilize just besides regular geo-targeting to really go after that audience that you're looking to get.
And it really all depends on what your product or service is. So think about how long does it take your audience to make a decision about your product or service. So for example, if you're selling fun t-shirts for $10, that's not as much of a decision as, let's say, enrolling in online courses, deciding to further your education. So there's a way different decision-making funnels happening there, and way different decision customer journeys happening there. So then Dave brought up a really good point. People are busy. So the next tip is know the tactics of your customer journey. Know which tactics fall in different areas of the customer journey. So we've taken that customer journey, put it into the purchasing funnel that we've all seen, except this is what I call the digital purchasing funnel. We still have awareness, interest, decision, and action. But what I've done here is I've put different digital tactics, and your digital marketer can help you with this. I've put the different digital tactics in for different parts of the funnel based on what those tactics do. So you have your awareness part of the funnel, which is your brand exposure and your website traffic. So this is your banner advertising, your geofencing, your targeted display, your paid social media, and your, maybe if you do video, your OTT, connected TV video advertising. This is, all of those tactics are general awareness. They see the ads when they're not really prepared for them. They show up in their newsfeed, they show up on their website, and like Dave said, they're busy, so they might just click on your website and then click off of it a minute later. So you're really looking at these tactics for the awareness side of the funnel. And then what you're going to do is you're going to use different tactics to kind of pull that user down into the rest of the funnel. So once they get interested in your product, then you've got more organic social media, because now they might be looking at your social media page, they're following you on social media possibly. You've got your native content, which could be your website content, your blogs. They're reading more about you in that interest section. And then when you get to the decision, the form fill, completion, then you get more into the SEO, the retargeting, the email nurture, the search. This would all be the bottom of the funnel, because then they know you, they've researched you, and now they're ready to make a decision. They're ready to make an action. I'll come back to the purchase funnel in a few minutes. So the third tip, sorry if I'm going too fast, we can go over questions. I'll try to slow down. Use clear messaging and easy conversions for the customer. So I hear a lot about, with banner advertising, having a high bounce rate, or just not getting that conversion off of the banner ad, because like I said, the banners are, and the social media is at the top of the funnel, and you want to pull them down and through the bottom of the funnel to that decision. The best way to do that is have an easy conversion for the top funnel people to be able to pull them down into the funnel. So in other words, when you have that banner advertising or that Facebook advertising, let the decision be something simple. If you're, for example, so if you're at a college and you want student enrollment, maybe that first conversion is just get more information or sign up for our list, because they probably won't apply for classes in that first ad introduction. So you kind of want to do a more easy landing page and easy conversion to get that email address and to get them in your remarketing pool. So what you want to do is don't send the user to your homepage. The ad should go to a landing page specific to your offer, so it's easy to find and redeem. You want to make sure that the offer on that ad matches what they see on that landing page, and then just make it really, really easy for them to make that decision. And just an easy step if they're not ready to enroll in that class, if they're not ready to, apply for whatever lawyer services you may have, or any other larger action, you can have a smaller action. And I have some examples of that as well. If you're in e-commerce where you're selling maybe some inexpensive goods or something like that, like those cheap t-shirts or something like that, just make e-commerce conversions really, really easy. Make sure that you incorporate things like Apple Pay or PayPal, or Google's Android service to make it really, really easy to buy. So I pulled off some landing pages off the web. So I really like this one. I just got this one from like a stock landing page where you can customize, download and customize it. I'm not sure what this offer is, but you get 10% off all products. And all you do is you put in your name and your email to get your coupon. So if you're using a landing page like this for whatever it is that you're selling, they don't even need to buy anything. They just put in their name and email, and you've got their email address for remarketing, and you can put a pixel on this to retarget them. So they don't necessarily have to buy your product right then. All they get is the coupon.
Yeah, sometimes with clients, when they put landing pages together, they put 5 or 6 different answers and things that you have to do on that landing page. And you have to think about what you do on a daily basis. So if you're busy and you're on your mobile phone, you might not want to fill out 6 questions. So the shorter questions and the less information that you're asking of people, then the better off you are to collecting data and getting things done.
And if you think your audience maybe doesn't want to give up their email address, here's another example I found online for Honda. This is just something I pulled off the web. But it says your first 400 is on us, $400 is on us. See if you qualify, enter your zip code. That's all you have to do. That's the only commitment they have at this landing page right now after you see their ad is just put in your zip code. Because I'm sure that this landing page has pixels on it for retargeting them. And then after you do your zip code, if you're still if the customer is still interested, then maybe a little bit more information, and then they will give up their email address after they get that second bit of information. But with this particular landing page, all they had to do is enter their zip, and they probably already then have them for the retargeting after that. So going back to the purchase funnel, so after those landing pages, now you're in that decision and action phase. So you've got them to your landing page, you've got them giving up their email address, or just landing on the page, giving up their zip code or phone number or whichever. Now you're in that area where they've completed that form fill. So now you can retarget them and nurture that lead by either putting them in your email marketing lead nurture, your Facebook retargeting, or your site retargeting to get them back to the website. And then that's how you kind of pull them from that awareness down to the action of the conversion funnel. And the last tip I have for you is connect with your community. And this is also really important for businesses just starting out. Customers don't want to be advertised to. They want to connect with a brand. So no matter what you're selling, in between all of that, make sure your customers see your brand stories. Let them know what your brand stands for and how you're connecting to the community around you, and tell stories that show your brand's people in the community as well. If you're a new business just starting out, and let's say you can't compete on search right now and people don't really know about you, connect with your community on Facebook, join community Facebook groups, do what you can, grassroots effort, just to connect with that community around you to start your growth. And that's really all I have for you. So I think now we can open it up to conversations and questions.
Yeah, and actually just to add in there too, stories are so important. You see it every day on Instagram. More and more people are putting their stories in. LinkedIn's got stories now. Facebook has stories. So whatever it is that if it's you that's promoting yourself or you that's promoting a business, just getting out into the public and telling that story just is really, embracing your brand and growing it. So that's an easy start. Anybody want to ask any questions? Tell us about yourself. I guess I do want to make this a little open forum. Nice job, Pamela.
Sure, thank you. I'm seeing some things in the chat. Evelyn, is this all you? Oh, client case studies to share. Yeah, do we have case studies, Evelyn, on our website? We do, don't we? We have a lot of case studies there.
We have a few case studies about how we've helped our clients. They're anonymous, protect our clients, but I can drop the link in the chat.
I was going to say there's so many different types of clients that we work with. Each one's different, from credit unions to, we have a campaign that we work with an ad agency that does livestock, horses and burros, and we do geo-targeting for them across the country. So whether it's really specialized into reach ranchers that are in Odessa, Texas, crazy things that we've done for clients and really hyper-targeted types of scenarios. So there's a lot that we do with clients. And in this case, if you've got a brand or something that you want to bring up to us and do a little consultation right now, we're happy to help you with that too. So.
And I can email you as well if you want to email me, Pamela at Enradius.com. Let me know what industries you're looking for to see case studies, and I'll see what we have. We've done so many. And recently I was just talking about to another client, we've been doing a lot of HR related campaigns right now because we're opening back up and people are looking to hire more. And there's kind of a shortage of workers right now. So we're helping some businesses with their getting in front of their different employee segments to reach out to them about hiring. And one of them happens to be Ocean City, who wants to hire, college students who come down for the summer. And so we talked about geo-cookieing college campuses. And it reminded me of the campaign I ran last year for a community college after we shut down. And everybody went home from college. The community college started putting all of their classes online, and they were advertising.
Towards you or me?
I'm sorry? I didn't hear that. Yeah. Sorry about that. They were advertising online courses. And so what we did was we put geofences around college campuses, but with our geo-cookie historical data technology, we can still reach students at the college campuses even after they've left. If they've been there over the past 90 days, we can still reach them. So we had a really successful campaign for the community college where we targeted all these different college campuses that they were targeting, all these different college students, and still reaching them after the shutdown. And they had a really, really good experience with that campaign.
I think Leslie was asking, what's the low-hanging fruit for startups with limited budgets and manpower? It really depends on the product side. So if it's a B2B, one of the things that's a low-hanging fruit are social media platforms like LinkedIn. And then targeting some of the audiences. You can garner clients that you work with, typically if you have their email addresses, and do matchbacks in some of the ad networks also, or things that we've done on a B2B side of it for even contracting. We've gone in and we've geofenced federal buildings. So if a small contractor is looking to target a contract for, let's say, the FDA, or they want to do a building contract and they want to reach out to the state, then we can geofence the state properties that are out there. And what we typically see are a lot of clicks that come through those locations, and it just keeps their business top of mind. And you don't have to spend a ton of money to do that, just based off of the amount impressions that are available in those locations. So sometimes it might be like $500 to $1,000 a month. With a startup, I know it could be a little expensive to do that, but it's a highly targeted campaign. And the other things that obviously Facebook pushing it out on the social media platforms with Snap, Facebook, Instagram, those are really the low-hanging fruit that we deal with on a regular basis.
I would also say for a startup, if you're B2C, just making sure that you have your listings up and everywhere, getting involved in, a local listings, making sure that you're on Yelp, that your Google business page is claimed, that all of the listings and details are out there. It really helps with your SEO, but then also helps you be found really easily. Make sure, I'm seeing a lot of new businesses without social media. So you want to make sure that you have those pages started, and then also do a grassroots effort to get, like I said, connect with your community. There's probably local Facebook groups in your community for small businesses or just for neighbors. And go not as your business, but as yourself. Just connect with them and just say, hey, I'm starting this new business and this is what we do. And let me know if you want to connect. Here I am. and just go and do those types of things, just being able to, organically, just be able to connect with other users and connect on your LinkedIn and just be as out there in the world as you can be.
There's for advertising, there's a great resource from Google, and it's called Think with Google. I don't know if you've seen it. We can put it in the chat, but Think with Google gives you a ton of different case scenarios, case studies, and how many typical touches that potential people advertisements need to hit. So you could see for a car dealership, I mean, hundreds of touch points before somebody makes a buying decision on a car specifically, just because it's such a big purchase item and they're out there researching. So everything's a little different depending upon the product. Again, which car would be a intense product. Where you're selling t-shirts, definitely you probably wouldn't have that much of a touch point issue. But again, it's Think with Google.
That's a good source to go to get customer journeys on various different things. Christine, you have any tips for us? Is there any, who's us? any particular industry or anything?
How about Henry? Was Henry still there? I saw Henry Mortimer floating in there. Just left. Well, anyone? Colleen? We have to unmute you.
Yeah, we can either do it in the chat or we can unmute people.
Okay.
Evelyn, do you want to unmute people?
Sure, although I think everyone should be able to unmute themselves.
Oh, cool, okay.
Do you want to maybe talk a little bit about how geofencing works and like how we are able to get people's accurate mobile device locations?
Yeah, so basically geofencing, I feel like I want to share something else on the screen for that. So what geofencing does is it uses the geolocation technology on your phone for us to identify users and where they are. So what we can do is essentially put a digital fence around target areas, and anyone who goes inside that fence with their mobile device with the geolocation turned on is then able to be served an ad by the advertiser targeting that area. And so it's a really great way to advertise to target users based on where they are or where they've been. So it can be either people serving the ads when they're within the fence, or after they've left the fence, we can still target those phones, target people with those ads. So I'll give an example. We have a campaign coming up. There's going to be a big rock festival over 4th of July weekend, and I have an advertiser who is geofencing that rock festival for the 3 days that concert's going on. So any phones that we can identify that go into that venue, we can then serve ads to them for the rest of the month. So we're going to serve ads to them while they're inside of the fence at the venue, but then also we're saving that that data to continue to serve the ads for a few weeks after they leave as well. So there's so many different things that you can do with geofencing. So if you're B2B and you're looking to target specific types of industries or employees, we can do that as well. So we have done a couple of campaigns where we've targeted hospitals and doctors' offices and things like that to target nurses or any kind of hospital staff. We're able to set it up so that we want so that the user has to be in the fence so many times for them to receive the ad. So we'll target a number of different hospitals to try to target the nurses who or any kind of staff that they're looking for. inside of those areas, but then also after they leave as well, because they may not be engaging with the phone and engaging with ads while they're in that fence because they're working. So we serve the ads to them after they go home.
Another interesting tactic too that we've used for clients that not a lot of people are aware of is weather triggers. So for example, if there's snow that's occurring, or if you know there's going to be a lot of rain in the forecast, basement waterproofers, for example, that's a good one that you just kind of leave on standby. And so when it starts raining, the ads typically will come out. Same thing with winter. So you look at the television side of it and some of the four-wheel driving through winter types of vehicles that you might see, as well as, you know, just people doing any of the wintry stuff like skiing, for example. So we can do weather triggers on regions and areas when, you know, it looks for like precipitation's coming in those regions.
So Leslie asked, what percentage of people leave location services on all the time, roughly? So when you're geofencing, they don't necessarily have to. It's not that they leave the location on, but once the user's in the fence and they pull out their phone, any app that they open that has the geo setting on, we can get their phone that way. So if you're, you know, at the mall and you open up your Facebook app, your location's on your Facebook app. If you open up the weather app where your location is on, we've got your phone. And I believe it's a 60% match, Dave. Do you know if that's what it is? Like if you have for all of the population that's inside of a fence, isn't it like 60% of the phones we can grab that match? Or is it higher than that now? Do you know?
Well, on that specifically, no. I mean, if you're talking about email addresses, typically it's like 40% matching back on the data.
No, and for geofencing, for location-based, for geofencing, like how many phones we can grab inside of a fence?
Yeah, I mean, it's roughly about 55 to 60%.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was 60%. Yeah. So when you are targeting that rock concert festival all weekend, you're getting about 60% of that audience. Any other questions?
All right, well, thank you for the time today. Thanks for coming out. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
If you have any other questions, just reach out to Pamela and she can help you through anything that you need for geo-targeting and latitude and longitude. You should see, like when we present clients, some of the mapping data that we have, it's pretty excellent. You know, we should actually have an example of that up here, but we can create maps for clients based off of what we're seeing with clicks and responses. So there's a lot of cool tools out there and things that we do and use for our clients based off of information and data we're getting all the time.
I can actually pull some up if we wanted to share.
Yeah, you can share it real quick, that'd be great. Because that's fun. That's the fun part. Like just taking the mapping data and structuring it out.
Let me see if I can share that. I think it's this one. Evelyn, do you see a map?
Yeah,
okay.
We see that. I see it.
Okay. So yeah, so this is an example of a Geo Fence Mapping. Let me see if I can remember who this is. Oh, I think I know who this is. Okay, so this particular client, they were targeting, they're a B2B client. They're a health insurance company, and they were targeting federal employees and military throughout DC and some key areas in Baltimore. So I believe what we're looking at is, I think that's the Potomac. I believe we're looking at DC and then north is Baltimore. So what we're looking at here is clicks and impressions, where I believe the blue is impressions and the orange is clicks for the different geo locations. And so you can see where exactly they were geofencing and the impressions and clicks that came out of those fences. I think that's the same map as before. So this 3D mapping tool. Okay, so this particular map is for a car dealership. And you can see here what this is showing is the purple is showing the impressions, and then the heat map part, the green, is showing the clicks. So on this particular map, you can really see where their impressions were most served and where they were not so most served, and also where they were clicking on the most. So we're able to see with this map which zip codes really performed the best. And they were able to adjust their campaign based on that data. And they were able to say, okay, well, we did really well in this zip code. Let's continue to push impressions there. We didn't do too well in this zip code. Let's either try a different strategy or eliminate that zip code if we don't want to utilize that one anymore. This is actually for OTT, which is, if you guys don't know what OTT is over the top. So what that is are ads that serve during streaming television programming. So Hulu essentially, and various other streaming platforms. This was for a flooring company that had several different locations across Baltimore. And what we did was we targeted zip codes that were based around near their location, near their different locations. So wherever they had a location, we did like a 5-mile radius around of those zip codes around those locations. So this is showing the video views across the region. So with OTT, you're not looking at clicks. It's essentially television, so mainly on connected TV. So you don't get as high of a click-through rate with OTT. You're looking more for the view rate, so the completed view. So this is showing which zip codes had a lot of views and which ones not so many views, and which zip codes needed to, which ones performed better or worse than others. And here's another geofencing map. This looks like the same client as the first one, I think. I don't know who this is. Oh, this one's one of my favorites. So this was an urgent care center who geofenced different hospitals in the area. This is actually up in New York. And he did this around the time of when, I want to say when everything was shut down. I believe that's when they ran. And so what this is showing, these are different hospitals out of Queens in New York that he geofenced. Since he was an urgent care center, he was targeting for, his messaging was basically don't wait in the ER, come to the urgent care center instead of waiting in the ER, essentially. So this is showing all of the different areas, how those impressions got split up and how those clicks got split up as well. This is also New York, but a different client. And what we're looking at here is the blue is showing the impressions and the purple is showing the clicks. So you can see here on this zip code really outperformed the rest of the zip codes in both impressions and clicks here. This is another geofencing map. I believe this one is showing just the impressions, but this is a great way to show how accurate we are with the fencing, that this particular client was targeting College Park along with various other campuses. I believe this is the same campaign that I talked about earlier with geofencing the different college campuses. We ran this before the shutdown. So this is when people were still on campus. But you can really see how accurate it is getting people who are in College Park. I have no idea what this one is off to the side. So I wonder if that's like a stadium or something. It's part of the campus, so.
Yeah, I think it's part of the campus.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and I think this is the same. This might be the same campaign. No, I don't think so. But it's the same idea. I just don't know who this is.
We do a lot of geofencing.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, we do.
yeah, that's different. Yeah, that's not College Park, that's Columbia Heights, that's DC. So it's down by DuPont Circle.
Yeah, it looks like we geofenced Howard University and then like only a portion of Georgetown. Maybe that's just like one institute or something.
Okay.
Yep.
And here's Morgan State. Yeah. That's probably all the same campus. You know what though? They were also, you know what I think that small one is? They also geofenced a few high schools too down in that area, and I bet that's a high school that they did Howard University, and then they also did a high school nearby. It's coming back to me. And then Morgan State. Any other questions about these?
Lots of mapping, fun stuff.
This is this looks like another geofencing, just a different pattern. So this is probably impressions and clicks, where orange is the impressions and blue is the clicks. So it's probably the same type of map, just a different way of looking at it. And here again is another geofencing map. This is Johns Hopkins right here. Johns Hopkins.
Minecraft.
I think I knew who this is. Yeah.
Great. Well, anybody else have any questions about any of the maps or campaigns? All right. Well, again, we thank you. Thank you for coming out and you know, spending the time with us today. And feel free to reach out to Pamela if you have any other questions that we didn't answer today. And have a great innovation week.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.